All right. Let's turn down the music just a little bit here. There we go. There we go. Bam! Just chatting section. oh God, what's going on with my screen? Okay, there we go. All right. Just gonna also turn the music down here just a fraction so I can actually hear hey! Hey, sorry. Yeah, wait, no, hey, unicorn! Hey. Oh, that slap always discombobulates me. Woof. I just realized that the alert box is hidden by my mech console. Whoops. Hold on. Let's I gotta change that real quick. Hey, what's up, Kazerkid? So, as you probably can tell from the title, I got news today. Good news and bad news. Kind of bad news. So I found out last week that I am officially losing my job. Yes, my workplace has finally decided to go full discrimination mode. So, basically, I am on suspended leave for the time being, and then I have to go in on Friday for a little weird employment tribunal thing. So I will not be having my job after Friday. Thankfully, they're going to pay me all of my accrued holiday and all of that. So it's not like I'm gonna be left with nothing. It sucks, but I'm gonna be honest. That job was kind of sucking the life out of me. But yeah, in other news, well, I guess in related news, it has kind of it motivated me to kind of get all of this set up. I actually have a VGen account. In fact, if you do exclamation commission, I got the commands working again. So if you do exclamation commission, hold on, it now links to my VGen account with all the new listings and all of that good stuff. And the description in the about has been updated as well. I'm going to be putting up some more services up there, like profiles, Discord reactives, both animated and non-animated. Gonna be working on some emotes as well. I kind of want to get a nice array of emotes put together. So, got a lot of irons in the fire. So, yeah, taking a full hard pivot to art income. I should be able to coast for the next couple of months until things start rolling in, but for the time being, gotta really tighten that belt. I'm trying to stay positive. I got a plan. I have a plan. We'll be having mangoes in Tahiti. No. But yeah. So I'm also gonna be now that I have a surplus of spare time. Bank robbery. Funnily enough, I got curious one day, and just had to look at to see just how viable, because they always go in the movies how bank robberies are these grand big scores, but actually modern banks, they don't really carry anything in them now. You would be lucky to get a few grand at most in cash, and 9 times out of 10 it's die packed. Maybe they'll have some valuables in safety deposit boxes, but it's honestly, it's so not worth it that if you seriously consider robbing a bank, it's next level stupid. That's like saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna steal someone's crypto wallet whilst everything is fucking crashing and burning." It's dumb. So, yeah. So today I have a plan. So we're going to be, yeah, bank robbery isn't as fun as it used to be. Yeah, right, because like, you know, back in the day when you stole like $5,000, that was a lot of money. I mean, you could just like hop on a fucking horse and just ride off into the sunset and just vanish. You could call yourself like Jim Milton or something and no one would be able to find you. But like, yeah, no, I think like bank robbery stopped being worth it after, I want to say after the 80s when everything started getting digitized. Like, I'm still trying to find like the exact cutoff point where that entire like, because like if you ever like look at yeah, 1970, like right around 1970 to like 1980, that's where like things kind of like cut off. I think I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research because like honestly, it's kind of fascinating seeing like the transitions of like bygone eras of crime. Because like, when did train robberies stop being lucrative? Like, you know, like just stuff like that, like crimes you never hear about anymore. Game idea: Western style train robbery with mech bandits. Oh my god, I can just imagine it. It's just like an endless wasteland, and there's just like this train of like mega corporations, and you have to like, oh my god, I'm just like imagining like mechs rocketing up like next to the trains and like hopping on, and like, and then while you're also robbing the train, you also have to like fight off like rocket bandits, like people on like rocket bikes just like riding up trying to steal the same score. Yeah, just pick up the train. I think the way you can get around that is like scaling the train up to like a ridiculous degree. So like the train isn't like a train as you would think. It'd be like a mobile fortress on like tracks. That would be sick. Honestly, that's a sick idea. That's a sick idea. I'm gonna put that one aside. So yeah. So yeah, today we're going to be finishing up a commission by commissioned by Unicorn here in chat, who has been honestly really awesome. Like, all of his ideas for commissions have been so much fun to do, like to the point where like I've kind of been pouring in like more energy than I really should with a lot of these, but it's like it's just like one of those things where you get like swept away with the idea, and it's like yes, gotta draw this, gotta add this, gotta add that, yes. And I was like, I know it's a bad habit as an artist making commissions, but it looks sick as hell. It looks sick as hell. Art. Okay, speaking of art, let me put away the high energy music there, and then let's move over to there we go, something nice, something chill. All right, and then boop, here we go. So if you were here last week, you would definitely recognize this beautiful thing right here. So the inks are all done, and I did more than just the inks. I've actually added the little sparks for like the singularity containment fields and all of that, which looks really sick. And in anticipation of today, let's just turn off the sparks real quick. We'll get to the sparks in a bit. I did a little bit of prep work for this. As you can see, I threw on some flat colors and such. So if I just do a little bit of this, I'm gonna do that. So here we have the shadow layer. Now, and you're probably wondering, hey, Sunny, why is it encompassing the entire piece? That's because we're going to be doing the opposite of what we would normally do. Instead of coloring in the shadows, instead of, just drawing the shadows in, we're going to be drawing in the light. And this was like a little trick when someone showed me it. It just completely rewired my brain because it makes you completely change how you look at lighting. Sunny has banished chat to the shadow layer. All right, so here is what we're going to do. So, one thing that we do need to remember when doing this is that as I'm painting on the light source, the lights are the midtones. We haven't quite added the highlights yet. So for something like this, we will basically mark... We're basically going to mark the high points where the light hits. So let's start with, like, say... Let's start with this right here. That's a high point where light would hit. And then we'll just kind of curve that in because, again, I kind of want to get that effect of like slightly reflective metal there. There we go. Hey, Chinchilla, welcome on in. So we are going to basically do kind of like a reflective rim light there. Like so. And then later, when we do the highlights, I'll go in and I'll add like a highlight streak right here to sort of give it that reflective metal look. So for the front here, since this is very focal, we're going to show the light catching here at the top. And of course, we're going to show the light kind of like catching on this edge right here. Hold on, just trying to get it to look nice here. All right. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this entire section near the front would actually be catching the light. In fact, this will probably have like the most reflectiveness on it. Once I go in with the highlights, so that can stay in light. Here's where it gets interesting, because here we can kind of carve in where the light is just going to hit the raised surface. So just like so. And honestly, this is like a really fun way to handle light as well. So you're kind of like less worried about overdoing the shadows. Like the shadows already overdone. Now you're kind of just going through and just figuring out just where the light is going to hit. And if you do it like this, you actually get this really nice, like high contrast lighting. High contrast, very dynamic. So if we do something like this, then we'll catch that right there, and then we'll kind of curve this around. And then from up here, this entire thing will catch the light. And again, this will be a fairly reflective surface right here. And then right in here is where things get interesting, because we're going to do something here. So I'm going to try to go for more of a kind of Gundam-styled shading, where it's like really intense in parts. Yeah, so right there. So that's going to be catching the light. Then there's going to be a little shadow right here. Ooh, whoops. And then I'm going to do my usual band shading that I tend to do on metallic surfaces. So thick, less thick, thin, thin. Kind of like that. And then let's actually catch this right at the top here. So this is going to catch a lot of light right here. And if we mess up at any point, we can just sort of re-add the shadow like so. This was actually something I was really excited to showcase as a technique that you can use for your own art pieces if you ever decide to play around with lighting. So I'm just gonna kind of break my own rule here, and I'm actually gonna connect these two together. So I did a little research as to how a drop shadow from a black hole would work. And the more I think, like, the more I researched into it, the more it's like, yeah, no, like, like the light would bend around it and probably wouldn't even, yeah, it's like, it's weird. I can't find like a solid answer. So I'm just going to say, for the sake of artistic liberty here, that the black hole doesn't actually affect the lighting at all. You can kind of see, like, as we do this, just catches the light ever so slightly, and it kind of, again, high contrast. It just makes it pop. I love it. Love this technique. I don't use it very often, but when I do, it is so much fun to do. So again, we'll just kind of have this one be a rather large shadow on the sort of opposite end right here, and then just kind of work our way back like so. There we go. There we go. All right, so then with this shoulder pad, I kind of want to like imply that the edges are slightly curved inward, so there's going to be just like this ever so slight like shadow, like so, And then I kind of want there to be... just want that sort of like curl around. And I'm gonna re-add drop shadows for these spikes here in just a moment. I just kind of want to block in the general shape of the light real quick. Because what I'm thinking about is just like where the light is coming from. I'm thinking this is just coming down from like top, God, hand tracking, please, from top down. Like so. And I'll touch up the spikes here in just a moment. Now, this method isn't perfect. It does have its downsides. Like, again, it does tend to make scenes relatively dark. But it does mean that if you're struggling with lighting in a scene, you can kind of just work backwards. And sometimes the result kind of works for what you kind of want to do for said scene. So just another thing to add to the artist tool belt. Now, I'm going about this with the transparent version of my usual ink brush, just so it kind of like keeps a little bit of consistency between it. You know, if I ever do upgrade my tracking setup, you guys are just going to be able to see me like do weird contortions to get certain drawing angles. To be a good artist, you don't need to be able to draw good from every angle. You just need to be able to draw good from enough angles and be able to flip your canvas and such around so you can utilize those angles. It's like you don't need to draw a straight line to be an artist. That's what rulers are for. Okay, so one thing I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of... One thing I love doing with shading is just kind of finding these little moments to sort of add a little extra shape to something. Because like shading isn't just like saying how light bounces off of things. It's also, you can use it as a means to trick the brain into thinking something is a slightly different shape than what you initially put down in your lines. Like, for example, these teeth are they're pretty much just flat triangles, but with the right shading and the light bouncing off of them just right, you can kind of curve them out. All right, now I did say I was going to re-add the drop shadows for the spikes, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do a little drop shadow right there, and then there we go. And let's add one right here. Not nearly as extreme. because this one's more pointing upwards, so we can just do a little, just do something like that. Same with this right here. Like so. Just like that. Ah, yeah. That's looking great. Okay, so for this little lip right here, I'm going to have this one stay in shadow, but do you get pain in your shoulders yet? Oh, yeah, no. Like, honestly, I've had pain in this shoulder, like, right... This... Come on, hand tracking, come on. This shoulder, right here, for, like, the past several days. Like, it's actually woken me up at some points. But I don't know if that's just, like, me sleeping on it wrong or overexertion. Who knows? What I'll probably do is actually... So I kind of want this bowl here to kind of be... I want this section to be kind of... lit up properly, because I want the little containment field dip to be reflective. You know, quote unquote reflective. I'll be honest, I'm still trying to figure out how to... I'm still trying to find the right formula for reflections. Because I'm a firm believer that things shouldn't be difficult if they don't need to be. There we go. You know, it's actually kind of freeing. Just... It's actually kind of freeing knowing that I don't really have to go back to my employer after Friday. It's gonna suck for like the first couple of months, but I don't know. I feel hopeful. You know what? I will actually do the opposite on this side. And oh, no. Actually, if I do it on this side first. There we go. And then what I will do is, because that one is in light, and I will have the opposite be true here. Just kind of like, just kind of alternate. Will it be correct? Technically no. Will it look cool? Probably. Let's find out. There we go. There we go. What's wild about doing metal shading is like, it's almost like each plane has its own little, like, localized shading rules. So let's... Because I'm just kind of like doing what looks right. I don't really like have a set formula for this. I'm just kind of like, that's the thing about shading. You just kind of have to like experiment and just see what sticks. Like the most planning I tend to do is just figuring out where the main source is, and then everything else just kind of goes from there. All right, then we're just gonna add a little bit of just some of these little smaller lines here to sort of break it up. There we go. And then when I go in with the highlights, this is going to look especially sick. There we go. Okay, now let's do a bit more shading around the mouth here. Since this is a very focal point, we're gonna spend a little extra care. There we go. So, you guys seen any good mecha lately? I recently came across this one anime that I'm kind of like digging through at the moment called Gasaraki. First episode, confusing as hell. More questions than answers. So hopefully by the third it'll be a little bit more concrete, but it's like it's part of the real robot genre. Like a good example of size 1 mechs, honestly. Cause like they're decently sized. Not like too super tall. Like, be like if you gave a truck legs, in terms of like, you know, if you stood a truck upwards and gave it arms and legs, you know, that kind of height. Like you could put it on a flatbed. Or, well, I guess an industrial flatbed, but still. I'm kind of trying to see if it's any good. Unfortunately, I could only find it dubbed. So that's fun. Typically I try to watch subs over dubs, but like I will watch dubs if they are available. You know, if they're like the only things there. Because, like, I'd rather experience the thing rather than just kind of be stuck without, you know? All right, so as we're kind of getting in here, I'm kind of just sort of tapering off the shadows so it cuts off there. Starting a rewatch of Witch of Mercury after debating either Macross or trying to find Magus XLR. Oh my god. The Mecha gateway drug. God, I wish I could commission you. I mean, my info's up, but if it's like a matter of like money, like I get it. I get it. Things just be getting more expensive these days. It's almost like the world is in a cost of living crisis or something. I mean, case in point, I lost my job. Woo! I know I'm being very jovial about it, but like, you kind of have to. No, I have money, it's just I don't have a card because my bank is stupid. Oh. Yeah, no, I get that. God, when I first moved here, like I had to, cause like I used to live in America for the longest time, and then I moved here, and then like every American bank like forces you to call them with an 800 number, and like phones in the UK don't play nice with 1-800 numbers. I had to like get a like a third-party app to do international calls. It's so annoying. Oh god, I have to file my tax returns at some point. Ugh. Okay, and then we're just gonna, and then just have that taper off just a little bit there. There we go. Ooh, actually, let's catch the light near the top there. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. That's looking incredibly sick. Okay, so I'm going to have like this be kind of like the cutoff line right here. Yep. Money as fuck up. Yep. Yes, it is. And to think, it all started as a stand-in for bushels of grain. Boy, did that change. This thing has better teeth than most British people. No comment. I think one of the big things behind it is, believe it or not, dentists are not covered by the NHS. So you still have to go private for dentistry, which is wild because there are some dental conditions that if you don't get them checked up and like and fixed, it will, I mean, there's some like fatal stuff. Like if you don't take care of your teeth, that's, you know, sometimes it can lead to death. It's wild. Like humans are both like the most resilient creatures and also the most fragile, but like I wonder how much of that is just the fact that we're just so fucking insane that what wouldn't normally be like crazy superpower strength and resilience, we see as like, oh, we're so fragile, we're so weak. It's like, no, we're just built different, and we're just kind of skewed in our perception. Totally don't have a few $100 bills that which I could use for artwork or actually life-helping things because everything is online. Yeah, I do know there's some... I do know there's some, like... There's some apps that will let you make, like, burner cards or something. I would personally do research before looking into alternatives, but, like... I getcha. Global financial systems do be kind of screwy. Especially with, like, how weird payment processors are nowadays. Oh, yeah, that's looking sick. Every now and then I have to, like, zoom out to double check if this is going to look good. And shadows sort of help reinforce how things are in 3D space. So, like, for example, I'll just do a little bit of this here. And actually, what I'll do is I will actually mark all of that, and then I will go back over with the shadow. There we go. Kind of show that it's like so. And ooh, I just realized that shouldn't be in shadow right there because that is blank space. Same with that right there. There we go. Let's see. We are weak and strong. We humans are really fucking weird. Yeah. Or there's no real way to put money on a card that isn't a gift card. Yeah. Again, like, payment processors are so weird. Finances. Ugh, finances. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of like ignore some lighting there. There. So one thing with art. Let's see, Unkillable Soldier is my favorite example of human durability. So, one thing about art in any process, and, you know, it is really daunting, like, learning how to do art and all of that, because you realize there's, like, a lot of rules for things, and, like, good art follows certain rules. Even art pieces that quote-unquote break the rules still kind of follow rules. Because, like, you need to know which rules to break. For example, it is okay to break your own internal rules for lighting if it helps the piece. Like, there's like this one example on YouTube. I can't remember the person who made it, but, like, he was talking about he's that one dude who does like all of the word art for comics and such. And he did like this one really cool example where he used a sound effect as a light source. Like the actual color of the sound effect, the onomatopoeia on page, he turned it into a light source. And it's like, oh, that's fucking genius. It's one of those things I might try my hand at experimenting with at some point. Yeah, when I get a little bit more settled on VGen, what I'll probably do is make a bunch of like smaller services. Because like not everybody wants mecha art. But like, boy, it is so satisfying, like, because like I will like sometimes. So when you're an artist, you look up a lot of you always have to like be watching drawing tutorials and all of that. You never stop watching drawing tutorials. In fact, the moment you stop learning as an artist is the moment you kind of stagnate. You're never like, you never just wake up one day and realize, ah, yes, I am a master. No. You are the perpetual student. The more you excel at the medium, the more you realize how little you actually know about it. It's like you could be down on your own art, and then like suddenly someone will look at it and go, "Oh, that's amazing! Oh my god, that's incredible!" And you're like, "Wait, really? Am I actually good?" It's like, yes, you are. It's like, it's okay to acknowledge that you're good at art. Just don't let it get to your head, because it doesn't matter how good you are. There's always going to be someone better around the corner. You can only hold the #1 spot for so long. Like, the whole idea of being like the best at a medium, or being the best at this or the best at that, it's, personally, I kind of think that's more of a, I feel like that's kind of like a construct, really, a thing people think about, because like you just think, oh yes, clearly there's got to be, if there's so many people that do a thing, there's got to be one person who's like the definitive doer of that thing. It's like, no. We'll do a little bit of that. There we go. Let's see. First rule of art club: don't talk about art club. Second rule: always bully AI artists. Yes. Because AI artists, they're tourists. They're the people who go to Mount Everest, and instead of like actually climbing Mount Everest, they hire a bunch of people to basically ferry them up Mount Everest. They're the people who, instead of like going out and like doing actual deep sea fishing, they hire someone to fish for them while they sit in like those big comfortable chairs with the giant industrial fishing rod, while the one guy just like quickly just reels it in, you know? They want the clout of being an artist without the struggle of being an artist. And like, I don't know why you would want artist clout. like low key, like it's like, do people actually know how much artists struggle? It's like, why would you want that? It's like, bro, you're clearly in like tech or finance. Go be in tech or finance. Leave me alone. Let's see, the only way to be best as is to be the only people doing it. That's very true. Victory by default. But yeah, as soon as you kind of just like acknowledge that, yeah, you'll never be the best at something. Like, being the best at something is kind of a fool's errand. An oxymoron, really. You can be good at it. You can be downright competent at it. But, like, there were entire Greek myths of people saying they were the best at a thing, and then immediately getting the shit kicked out of them by life. You know? They don't want the clout. They want the cash without the talent or effort. What cash? We're artists. It's like, ah, yes, the people who make $1 billion, famously artists. All right, actually, I'm gonna have to do something about this. Hold on. This one I'm gonna have to approach this the regular way here. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna do a kind of like drop shadow, like around this upper torso here, and then I'm just gonna have the lower portion of the body catch the light here. And we'll do that with the hips. The hips. Okay, just like so. Oop. A little bit too far there. There we go. Just gonna add a little bit of shadow on the inner leg there, just sort of like show a little contrast and show that these are two materials and light is bouncing off them a little bit differently. I'm gonna do actually a little bit of light right there near the... Actually, no. I'm gonna have the light catch right there. Let's see. There are people making the really big money off of their art. Yeah, that's the thing. Like all of the great artwork that's like being sold, like all of those artists, they have been dead for centuries. Because as we all know, a corpse cannot fight back. Most of the great artists of history died thinking they were complete and utter failures of their craft. And you know, it's kind of depressing to think about, but like, here's a hot take. Fine art is just money laundering. You can't tax a painting. It's a non-taxable asset. It's money laundering and tax evasion. That's the only reason why there's a fine art world. And there are like people who genuinely love the pieces and genuinely want to preserve that history. But they're overshadowed by the people who just want to use it to have assets they cannot be taxed on. Huh. She kind of does, doesn't she? Okay, so I'm gonna have to bring the brush size way down for this, because faces are a little bit delicate. So I'm going to catch the cheekbone here. Catch that cheekbone right there. Kind of catch at the bridge of the nose there. And then do a little catch of the brow here. And then we're gonna catch the top of this thing right here. We're gonna go right down to here, and you know what? Just to sort of show off the shape of this thing a little bit. I'm going to go through and sort of show a little bit of the drop shadows there, and then we will do a little bit of that. There we go. So it's kind of obvious there's like a device there, and then let's kind of catch this little back detail of the visor mount there. There we go. And then we're going to go through and just kind of pick out all the light areas of the hair. I'm not gonna really worry about doing... I'm not gonna worry about doing any of like the major highlights in the hair because she's not really a focal point. She's more of just like a feature of this piece. The focal point being like the actual mech itself. This is just cool. She's just sort of like a cool detail. Kind of zoom in and see the horror of this thing. You know, just really sell that this thing is potentially a fate worse than death. Like so. And then I'm gonna catch the bottom of the eye with a bit of light. There we go. Now let's pull this light just a little bit further up so we can get a little bit more of the exposed forehead and kind of get sort of like the shape of the hair. And finally, we just have to do this last foot right here. So I'm gonna do a bit of the heel. There we go. And then let's do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then we're gonna catch the top of the foot right here. Is it accurate lighting wise? Probably not, but I need that light to sort of catch right there. There we go. Yeah, now if you ever want to like if you ever want to get like angry at something, just look up anything in the world of fine art, and you start to notice the cracks real quick. It's like I legitimately feel sorry for all of like the art historians and all the people who genuinely love like fine art to the point where they will like study everything down to like the minute detail, because like there are people who genuinely love the medium and love the history and love seeing where we all come from in terms of like our collective selves and how we express ourselves with art. And then you have a bunch of rich dips just kind of ruining it and taking advantage of that. It's a whole thing. It's honestly, that's a whole rant for another time. I mean, truth be told, as an artist, I would love to be able to staple a I would love to be able to staple like a bit of sheet metal to like, I don't know, a toilet seat or something, and then immediately make like $1 million off of it. But that ain't ever gonna happen. Fuck the money, only for getting more money. Yeah. Behold, Sunny only is live when the sun has pissed off. Yep. Though considering I have recently just lost my job, I might have more time and I might be able to pick up an extra stream day. I'll have to coordinate with Layla though, because Layla is the resident full streamer here in the household. Like, damn, she's like getting collabs with like Ray from Achievement Hunter. Like, damn. Remember to follow and subscribe to TK_Layla. She's genuinely very good at what she does. There we go. Oh, hey, Layla.
Hi, Sunny.
All right. So now I'm kind of going through and I'm just kind of, I'm not worrying about the individual muscle fibers here because like all of these lines, these are just like there for texture. We're not even going to factor them in when we do the shading. We're just kind of going in with the broad strokes. As long as the shadows are kind of sharp-ish, like the eye will kind of gloss over it. And then let's just do a little bit of that. There we go. Okay, so let's get this top portion here. Actually, this entire section right here will definitely be in the light. Like, the light will definitely catch this. Like so. So there's not even going to be, like, a lip of shadow. I think the only lip of shadow will be sort of, like, off onto this side right here as it kind of curves inwards. But for the most part, let's just put both of these in full light, and I'll go ahead and add a little drop shadow at the lip here. There we go. Just like that. There. Then, oh, and I love doing this, just sort of. Okay, first off, that is way too intense. Let's bring that back down to like an 86. If you're wondering why my brush size is so big, it's because this canvas size is ridiculous. This canvas size is 9,921 pixels by 14,031. So I'm working with absurd resolution here. Let's see. Got really mad when I heard about the castle that used to be the Koenigsberg Castle. Damn thing stood for centuries, survived 2 world wars, then got bulldozed by the Soviets and replaced with an ugly apartment building. Damn! Damn! All that history gone. Castle fell to urban development. That's brutal. Okay, now let's attach this top plane to the light. There we go. There we are. You know, for the longest time, I always avoided doing coloring because I always, coloring and shading, because I always just felt so nervous because, like, I spent, like, all of this time perfecting, like, the inks and the pencils and all of that. Well, I say perfecting. I spent all this time, like, working on it. And then, like, I was always just so scared that I would ruin the piece by trying to color it in, just trying to color it in and, like, messing it up. And it's like, no, you just gotta dive in. Because, like, as much as people try to, like, explain how to do shading, I always found that artists tend to default to, oh yeah, just think in 3 dimensions. Yeah, that's great advice, genius. Fucking how? But no, you really just gotta just dive in and make as many mistakes as possible early on, because you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. You just gotta dive in. Like save the line art. Make a copy of it. And just start coloring. You know what? I'm actually gonna leave these top 2 vertebrae in shadow here. I think I'll probably have this one kind of just catch the light, but the rest of it's going to be very obscured. Like so. And you know what? I will probably play around with maybe something like that, maybe. No, it just looks better. Just completely blocked out like that. Yeah, that works. Of all of history to go the worst way is when it's done knowingly. Yeah. Yeah. It's the worst when people know the history is there and then they disregard it. History is all we got, really. If we didn't have history, then what would we have? Like, literally everything we have is just an offshoot of knowing our history. Like, do you think science and technology would have gotten as far as it did if people didn't just, like, look at the past and go, ah, this technology exists, what if we improved it? Like, could you imagine how much worse off humanity would be if scientists had to basically learn everything from, like, the wheel all over again? Like, wild. Dr. Stone would be a completely different anime. Here we go. I'm really happy with how these muscle fibers turned out. It was such an easy effect to do. Time consuming, but it was easy. I wouldn't want to draw it over and over again for, like, a comic piece or anything like that, but, like, as a standalone design, oh, so good. There we go. Let's bring all of this into the light. Now, I will be the first one to admit that sometimes, when I can't think of how a thing would make sense, in terms of, like, how it all fits together, I'll obscure it in shadow. Is it bad practice? Yeah, kinda. But, like, sometimes you just want to get on with the piece instead of worrying how a shoulder attaches to a robot, you know? It's like, I ain't an engineer. I don't know no rocket surgery. I just draw cool pictures. I just have to learn a lot of things to draw those cool pictures. There we go. So let's get that kind of shaded in. Yeah. I kind of like the shadow not touching the base. Gives it kind of like gives that little extra metallic edge. let's see. No idea what would look like if they made a Stone Age mech in Dr. Stone. I'm imagining it. There's two versions in my head. One that's played for laughs, and one that is completely serious, that's operated through a complex series of ropes and pulleys. Yeah, what would a Stone Age mech even look like? Oh, that's gonna be stuck in my head now. Oh, speaking of the Stone Ages, a friend of mine in my local area, he's helping me compile a fantasy RPG I've been working on for a good while. And once it's all like compiled and ready to publish, I'll probably publish it on like itch and drive through RPG. I'll probably have it like available for free. You know, just sort of like a print and play RPG zine. But the idea is, or the RPG is called, the current title I have for it is Neo-Mythic. And the whole idea is you are playing in a... Oh, hang on. That's a bit louder than the previous tracks. Yeah, but the whole idea is you are playing as a bunch of cave people in the Neolithic era. I say cave people, you know what I mean, like hunter-gatherers in the Neolithic era. And it's kind of like a sliding scale of like Stone Age, Copper Age, and like Bronze Age. And the whole idea is it takes place in the time where they started telling stories. So like your story could potentially get passed down by your ancestors as like the pantheon of your culture. Like, you could be Thor, you could be Odin, you could be Heracles, you could be Zeus. Like, the gods from our myth are just regular people. They were like, well, I say regular people, they were notable people who became the heroes of like myths and legends through their exploits, you know? And as time goes on and people embellish the stories, they become like the gods and all that. And it's like it's fun. It's like the test games I've done of it have been pretty successful, honestly. Like, everyone just loves being able to roll up an Unga Bunga caveman and then stomp through like Bronze Age cities. Because the whole idea is, because you're hunter-gatherers from like the Outlands and all of that, whenever you come across these cool cities, the GM is encouraged to treat the cities like they are dungeons, because they're weird, they're unusual, they have weird rules, and they always end up in a fight. So yeah, that'll be pretty fun to to release at some point. And it's the way I set up the system, it's kind of reactionary. So instead of like rolling to hit something, you automatically hit something. You just roll how much damage you do. But when something attacks you, because it's more balanced towards the players in terms of combat. So the player characters, when they get attacked, they can choose to either like dodge, block, or parry. And when they're parrying, you basically roll your damage opposite to the person dealing the damage, and basically the highest damage wins. So like the damage kind of like cancels each other out. So if you end up doing more damage than the enemy who is attacking you, you actually that counts as like the counter attack. That's how it's sort of flavored. So even during combat, when players are getting hit, they're still like actively fighting, if that makes sense. Like, my studies of Scottish/Irish folk history has given me so many ideas. You know, if you ever wanted to like add anything to the game world, because I've mostly been paying attention to Mesopotamian and Greek history, you know, just like early Bronze Age, as well as some Nordic history. But one thing I've kind of been struggling with is actually Scottish and Irish folklore, in terms of like how to implement them, because like the whole idea is like it's a very human centric setting. Like, to show how like human centric it is, like the dwarves in the setting are actually Neanderthals. You know, very, very specialized with their craft. Shorter, hairier, more stout. But like, for all intents and purposes, the dwarves are Neanderthals. Like, it's like, as players, the players will know that the dwarves are Neanderthals. The GM will know that dwarves are Neanderthals. But to the characters, they are a mysterious tribe that prefer to stay in the caves, where they're able to tend to their forges. It's like I love playing around with ideas like that. Like, how do you take like actual things from like history and science, and like if you took what we knew today and actually turned it into like a fantasy setting, like how much of what we actually know would be amazing in fantasy. It's like, you mean to tell me there were a bunch of like different species of human that all specialized in different things? Yeah, the actual book itself, it's going to be like very light on historical references and such, because again, I think all good role-playing games should be a toolkit for the GM to be able to sort of springboard off of and do their own things with their own settings. Like, come on. How many people actually play in the Forgotten Realms or like the Greyhawk setting or anything these days? Like 9 times out of 10, when you're playing a game of D&D, like the dungeon master is playing their own setting. You know? In fact, that's one of the things I've kind of been like tackling with my videos on Lancer, is just like, because I know as a forever GM that if I have to adhere to a strict setting in a book, I would be too terrified of like accidentally doing something that's like against the lore in the book, or something like that, especially if it has like a lot of beloved lore or anything like that. And like that's one of the things that makes Lancer a little intimidating for GMs, because they think, oh, the setting's pretty complicated, isn't it? And it's like, not really. But I can see how people will kind of get that idea if they're looking at it from like the outside. They just see all of these concepts, all of these different like phrases being thrown around, and they're going, this is a whole setting with like books upon books of lore. It's like, no. Like everything that people like talk about and gush about, like I guarantee you they only have like maybe 2 to 4 paragraphs tops. But like when you're trying to learn a game, you don't see that. You're kind of just going, all right, what's the world like? What's the game like? Is it going to be something I'm gonna have to like strictly adhere to, or am I able to like do my own thing, or am I gonna be stuck with the setting? So like that whole idea is kind of like why I just sort of stick to like, yeah, here are the rules, here's some like item lists, here's some like basic stuff for inspiration. I'm not gonna like give you a timeline or anything like that. Just have fun. Make your own worlds. Lore should be guidelines to inspire, not ironclad restraints. Exactly. Lore should be the flavor, not the concrete. All right. We're making some progress here. Heck yeah. Slowly but surely, you can kind of see, like, the more we kind of erase from the shadow layer, the more lit up this is going to look. Ooh, and I just realized I missed a little spot here. I missed this part right here. The little chin guard area. Like, I always recommend to anyone who wants to, like, play Lancer and, like, GM it, don't really worry about the setting. Just know, you just gotta know some, like, key details. Like, for example, you just gotta know what the corpo states, like, what their modus operandi is, what their entire vibe is, and what would make them good villains in any given setting. Because, like, I know a lot of people tend to, like, paint like interplanetary shipping North Star or IPSN North Star in like a really positive light just because of their like down to earth kind of vibe, but like no, actually. If I were to have them be a villain in a setting, I would have them be the corrupt like tractor manufacturers that lock everything behind like their own proprietary licenses. It's like, have you seen how stupidly expensive tractors are? Like, damn. Buying a Ferrari would be cheaper than buying a damn tractor's tire. It's wild. It's like they are bleeding farmers dry of all of their money. And it's like, why are you screwing with the people who produce all of our food? That's the dumbest thing ever. You know what we used to call farmers that produced a absolute crap ton of food for everybody in their general area? You want to know what we used to call them? We used to call them king. The first kingdoms came about because of farmer kings. So, like, food is power, and you have these companies trying to strip that away from the people that feed everyone. It's wild. There's just so many things that don't make sense anymore. Exactly. Have IPSN secretly fund pirates to boost sales. Have them harass like independent shipping companies because they're not using their freight ships. Or they're trying to load things without using their, or like haul things that without using their like without using the Lancaster. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the Corpo states as villains. So like I highly recommend, if you want to like learn how to run Lancer, just read up on the Corpo states, get a general vibe of like Union's whole deal, even if it's just like to boil it down to something like one shorthand would be like Union, flavor Union to be kind of like Star Trek, the closer you are to their core worlds, you know? Have them be like closer to Star Trek, the closer you are to their core worlds, but like farther away, it's more like a softer version of the Imperium. Just because the farther you are away from Union, the more like dicey things get, and that's normally where the Karrakin trade baronies tend to like get a lot of their business interests. I always like playing around with the idea that because like they always play around with like the neighbors constantly threatening to be at war with Union. That's always a fun concept. Just look at Ford for any company during World War II if you want to make an evil corpo. Exactly! It's like, it's not hard to make even the most, like, pleasantly sounding corporations, seem absolutely evil. There's this there's this there's this one sci-fi game. It's like a Starship Bridge simulator, but you can actually get out of the ship. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, where is it? I have it in my Steam library. But like one of the starts you can get is that one of the factions you can be right out the gate is like the Tasty Cakes Corporation. And it's genuinely such like a hilarious thing because like everyone else is like an actual legitimate government that you can be like, you could be a part of like you could be like the military dictatorship. You could be like the Star Trek Federation, and then Tasty Cake Corporation, where everyone lives and dies by tasty cakes, and it's like the most dystopian thing ever. And everyone has to wear the Tasty Cake uniform. It's hilarious. Oh, what's the name of this game? Oh, where is it? I think I might have it under like Space Games. Here we go. Where is it? Pulsar, The Lost Colony. Farming is work that should be more honored and not have to worry about making another year. Yeah, exactly. Farming should just be like one of those jobs that's just like, because like if the farmers stop producing food like altogether, you want to know what happens to the world? Starvation. That's what happens. That's why I kind of loved how in Cyberpunk, like the nomads, all they wanted was like the means to like actually farm without being, or at least some of the nomad clans, they were like looking for I think it was actually the main ones in the campaign, the Aldecados. They were like trying to find ways to like produce and farm food without having to pay what was it, Biotechnica or one of them with their most Santo ass seeds. Like it's so easy to like make the Megacorps and Lancer be like a different flavor of villain. Get the players invested in the people on like the colonies. Campaign idea. Players trying to start a business for Yes! That's a good idea. Oh, I need to run Lancer more. I might be able to actually run Lancer more. I now have a surplus of time. Whoops. Okay. just every now and then I like zooming out so I can kind of get like a good view of this. Oh, that looks so sick. That looks so sick. Okay, and then we're just gonna do a little bit of this. Because I kind of like having this bottom portion here still be kind of in light, or still have it be in shadow, just to sort of like give it a little bit of extra three-dimensionality. Yeah. Let's see. Best view. Oh, why do these things keep on popping in? All right, let's ban this bot. All right, and then let's ban this bot. And I don't know why they think that works. I always like the idea of breaking into HA to free the think tank. Ooh, yes. Yeah, see, plenty of plot hooks. Plenty of plot hooks. The Corpo states are great villains. Here we go. Just gonna put those in a little bit of light there, and then put a little bit of that in the light. Some of that in the light. Ooh. Hold on, let's pause that. I am now ooh. Hold on. Let's get some music changed here. What about ooh, yes, let's do this one. Yeah, let's get some good energy in here. Yeah. There we go. There we are. I always love doing this method, just this erasing the shadows method, painting light. Like every time I do it, it just leads to like just such strong shadows. Good shading. Got a high gog on the way. Nice! Let's see. So, my favorite book, Primitive War, got a movie a wee while ago, and it is not good. Oh, no. Oh, that's always rough. Especially when it's like always been in the works. You're like, yes, finally an adaptation, and no, it's not good. Why? Granted, there's always a case of like, oh yeah, but the book was better. But it's like, it's like Ender's Game, right? I remember reading Ender's Game way back, and I was like really excited that it was getting a movie. Because wow, that is such a brutal book. However, what ended up not working. Oh, actually, hang on. There we go. What ended up like not working out with that adaptation at all was they basically condensed everything down and changed some details that are just like really dumb in contrast. Like, oh, this is one detail from the movie that was like really, really dumb. So like, all right. So like the kid who like bullies Ender throughout the entire movie, Bonzo Madrid, like in the book, he was supposed to be like this like tall, imposing figure because like Ender was just like this just this tiny little kid. He was minuscule. In the fucking movies, the actor who plays Ender is like a whole head taller than his bully, and it's like, come the fuck on, man. You had one job with that casting. Ender's Game was pretty good book, but man, it's kind of hard to like really enjoy it much these days. I tried reading the sequels to it, and some parts of it were interesting, other parts were like, The Artemis Fowl movie sucked compared to the books. Yeah, I've been hearing that as well. I've noticed like these studios are just like trying to chase after that magic from the early 2000s from the book series that shall not be named. All right. Okay, so this plane is going to catch the light, and then it's going to kind of cut off right here where it transitions into this plane right here. It's a long moving, and it doesn't use its time well, and characters get the time they need to have the death. Have feeling it's yeah. Because like, I get it. It's really difficult to like adapt a book to the big screen, just because like a lot happens in a book. Like a single book could easily be like 2, sometimes like 3 movies, depending on like how faithful it is. I always found like the best adaptations of books have always been like miniseries, where they're actually like given the time to let the source material kind of like breathe.
Nothing.
Here we go. Oh, no, come on. There we go. Break it up into smaller shapes. Makes it more manageable. Okay. It's amazing how much a few shadows can immediately change a piece. Go. And we'll do sort of capture that right there. Do a little bit of that. And actually, since this, let's do a little bit of that. Let's do the same over here. Because I'm gonna hit these with like a really strong highlight. Let's see, don't know if it exists, but I would like to see a Gundam series focused on people caught in the mid-fire. I'm willing to bet there's like a Gundam series like that. Gundam has like Gundam's had like so many series that have done it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like even an OVA that did something like that. Yeah, in the middle of war. Have you seen the OVA War in the Pocket? Okay, Okay. I kind of want to watch it too. It is basically, it involves a kid befriending a Zaku 2 pilot. A kid in the Federation befriending a Zaku 2 pilot. And we see it from the kid's perspective. It's actually one of the most beloved OVAs in the franchise. It's also beautifully animated as well. Just from what I've seen of it. Wait, haven't I used this track in a video? I think I have used this track in a video. Damn, alright. You know what? Let's do a little shading trick here. We'll just pull that back. There we go. Then a little bit of this on the detail. There we go. So then from here, let's just erase all of that. Actually, let's pull this shadow back a little bit further. See how that looks. Yeah, I fuck with that. All right. And then from here. Oh, that's my meds alarm. Aha! I should take my medication. Remember, folks, take your drugs. Just gonna finish up this shadow right here. And then I will have to BRB real quick as I go and take my medicine. I'm not going to be too super precious about the shadows on these little details. Because again, they're going to be very tiny. And let's see, just a quick spark check. Yeah, that's looking sick. Oh. You know what? I'll leave those in shadow. They're fine. They're fine in shadow. Those are fine in shadow. Is it Oh wait, no, yeah, it would be on YouTube because like all of Gundam is on YouTube. Officially. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly save this. Right. I will be right back, folks. I just need to take my medication. Be right back. Gotta take my meds.
Sorry for that. I got pulled into a Super Battle Golf collab.
Oh, no worries. It happens.
Ruben grabbed me.
Oh, nice.
Very last second, so I'm trying to be quiet.
Yeah, no worries. All right. So where was I? here we go. Good thing I finished billing 61 minutes, and all I can feel is my shoulder letting me know that the years of not being right is my problem. Yeah. Like, honestly, my shoulder, like, this shoulder right here, this one's, like, acting up on me now. I think it may be, like, a pinched nerve or something. Go. There we go. Just do some quick lighting there. A little bit on the side there. A little drop light catching there on that digit, and then there we go. We suffer for our art. Yes, yes we do. Art is suffering. Suffering is art. At least in other professions, we get compensated for our suffering. Can't believe we live in the timeline where people are trying to replace artists with robots. It's wild. Here we go. So this one's just going to be a relatively quick shading job on this arm. And then we will officially have the upper body done. Just like that. Like so. Let's get some light bouncing off of this shoulder pad here. Let's highlight the top, or I say highlight, let's get the tops of these spikes on here. And then what we'll do is also go in, let's add a little bit of light onto the sinew and muscle fiber that goes up this mech's vertebrae. The Hecate's embrace. Whoops. There we go. Oh, this one I poured so much effort into. Oh, I love how this is turning out. This is so good. There we go. And that's the upper body done, including the staff. So now we'll just breeze through the lower body. Then we'll add the highlights. I will add a little bit of some post-processing with like some glow effects and some glow bounce light. And then we should be good. art is a time-consuming process, but it's a very rewarding one. And I remember when just like drawing a single picture, just like a single basic picture, would take me like 8 hours for a cartoony little figure. Now here I am, drawing entire mechs, the one thing I thought I never would draw. It's funny how life goes. There we go. We'll add a very light drop shadow right there. And then have that little area be in light, and then we will carve out the rest of this. Just like that. Ooh, now that I have more free time, I can... Oh, I definitely use this track in a video. Now that I have more free time, I can definitely start organizing that Aether Nexus game I've been wanting to put together for the community. That would be a lot of fun. Wish I kept a hold of my drawing of knights. Honestly, same. I would have loved to see them. One bit of advice I was given like very early on is to never throw away anything you draw, because you never know when you'll want to like revisit them and use them for inspiration. Like, I still have a bunch of drawings I have from like when I was in high school. Like, I have an entire folder of them. The paper's all faded and ready to fall apart, but I have everything. I keep everything. Because sometimes, even when you shelve an idea, you'll come back to it and go, actually, that was a pretty good idea. I can refine that now that I'm in a better place. I might make an entire series out of that, just like grabbing some of my old high school drawings and just like redrawing them with my current skill level. Ah, that's valid. Okay. We are getting close to completion here. Just gotta do a little bit of the legs. And then we just gotta do some metallic highlights to really, really sell the illusion of metal. Like, for example, here, do a big ol' bit of light right there. Remember, don't date crazy. Oh, true. True. Oh. God, you ever just like come back into contact with like people you used to be in like relationships with like way back, and then you realize, oh, you're fucking crazy now. When did that happen? Okay, yeah, that's gonna work. Oh, I'm sure you can think of a really cool build for this.
Tequila.
All right, I'm actually going to leave this entire plane in shadow, but I am going to highlight this side right here. Yeah, like that. And we are almost done with this leg. Just like that. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Okay. We are almost done. Once I'm done carving out the light in this leg, this is going to be some pretty easy stuff to do. Have you seen the trailer for the new SAO RPG? SAO as in like Sword Art Online? Because, like, I never really got too into Sword Art Online. Like, I know that was, like, a lot of people's, like, gateway, but... But, like... Yeah, never actually seen or read Sword Art Online, surprisingly enough. See, when I was getting into anime, we had like dot hack was like everywhere. So like I really didn't get too super into Sword Art Online because like it was just too similar to dot hack, if that made sense. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if Sword Art Online, if those light novels came out before dot hack. But like at that point I was already like kind of fatigued on the idea. I probably should give it a fair shake though. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm like really locked in right now. But it falls off after the first arc. Oh, that's a shame. Then again, not everything can be Dragon Ball Z abridged. Oh, you know what make a really good abridged series? Lupin the Third. Like, that would thrive in an abridged format. Especially since it's like... kind of, it's very episodic in nature, so you can just tailor each abridged episode to like whatever tropes is going on in that episode. Like it's... It wouldn't have to be like a super deep abridged series either. I'm still going to keep that in shadow. Or maybe... Actually, let's suggest something here. Let's try something. If I do half of that... in light... What can we get here? Yeah. Oh, just hit my elbow.
You just smashed your elbow. I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that through the headphone. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thankfully, I did not hit my funny bone.
Good.
Let's see. It's a shame Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Abridged ended so quickly. Let's see. I'm going to get food. We'll be right back. All right. Enjoy your food, Kazrigan. Oh, this piece has been a lot of fun to work on, but wow. It has definitely taken longer than what I normally do for art pieces. The end result looks sick. Let's get a little bit of edge highlighting there. Should I keep it that... Ooh, actually, yeah. So we'll sharpen this, bring this shadow up to a point so it doesn't look weird. Then we'll bring this in, like so. We'll do a little bit of that. Oh, this was a lot of fun to draw. I enjoyed the process of designing this from beginning to end. And it makes a really good portfolio piece. Goodness. You know what? I will probably... Because how do I have this one shaded? So I have like this middle section right here. So actually, let's keep it a little bit consistent there. Let's do some of that. Little bit of highlight there, and all right, so the shadows are done. Now for the highlights. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another layer here, and then we're going to go with an overlay layer on top of that. Then we're just gonna go over with, like, say, a white on this overlay layer. And what we're going to do is we're just going to catch, well, we're going to catch the edges here. And I'm going to try to do this more like a go really cell shaded with this, actually. So we'll catch that edge. We'll catch that edge right there. Catch these edges here. Just like that. There we go. And then, now that we have the edges highlighted, we can do a little bit of actually don't like how that looks. Let's change the pattern just a little bit. So we'll curve it in like so. Yeah, that's looking a little better. Yeah, that's much better. Oh yeah, that's the good shit. Curious to know, what is your favorite part when you're doing art? My favorite part is actually the sketching and the inking phase of it. Colors, not so much. But like, I love being able to just like sit down and make something that otherwise wouldn't have existed. And of course, like, being able to like see the final version of it and just go, yeah, I made that. I made that with my own two hands. I performed an illusion. It's very freeing. It's one of the oldest tricks that we know. We've been doing art since we've been in caves, and it just feels nice being able to continue that history. Now, I always see myself as more of a comic artist, so I like to do art to tell stories. I just never really have time to like commit to something like that, honestly. I tried doing a webcomic once. But then when I realized just how much of my time will be dedicated towards drawing the comic, it was very sobering. And it didn't end up being like super healthy for me in the end. But what I learned from that attempt to make webcomics was I got really quick at drawing. So like, I can sketch something and ink it like relatively fast. Though personally, I would probably, if I were to do a webcomic or like a webtoon or anything like that, I'd probably see if I can hire someone to do the coloring for me. Because I don't really enjoy the coloring aspect of it too much. I feel like while yes, it does complete the piece and such, I find the aspect of like making the sketches and inking them to be like 90% of the work. It's like, I love doing ink illustrations. Right, I'm only going to put the highlights on the red wires here so they kind of like pop. It's also why when I do the colorings, I tend to stick to only cell shading, because like I'm able to transfer over the skills that I developed when doing inks, because it's all the same brushes, all the same muscle memory. And while yeah, I could experiment with painting and all of that, and I have in the past, and they do lead to some really sick pieces, I tend to just like the consistency I get better from just like harsh cell shading. So yeah, I love doing ink illustrations for the most part. Hey, welcome back, Azergan. Okay. So I'm just gonna put that in the highlight right there. We'll put a little thing. Oh, thank you. I just received food. Food has been provided. Yeah, we'll just leave the one stripe there. Yeah. Okay, and then as you can see, all it takes is just one simple color, shadow, highlight, done. Now I do need to like actually experiment with like painterly styles, but that's going to be an entire saga in its own right. And I really don't like doing any of my learning on stream. There we go. Okay. We are almost there, because this is the final stage right here. We're essentially just kind of hitting everything with some highlights to make it look nice and extra metallic. And there's not like any fast or hard rules with this. We're just doing what looks right when we zoom out. Already, that is starting to pop. Ooh, and actually, what I'll do is I'll have this be like a three-prong. Ooh. I'll actually have this be a three-prong highlight, just like that. Just a three-prong highlight, like so. Go. Just gonna add some nice little highlights right there. And some highlights on some of the gray here. Speaking of highlights, we're going to do a little bit of this along the staff. And we're just going to see what looks good. Remember, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. Oh, I should do a funny art piece of Bob Ross just beating the shit out of the devil. Just beat the devil out of it. Now, you would think these bits right here would be liquid white, but they're not. They're actually a bit of an ivory mixed with a very light purple. In another timeline, I probably would have been an accomplished voice actor. Alright, we got some nice highlights going on here, and then we're just gonna add a little highlight on this little bit right here, just to show that it's like nice and metallic. Get it to pop. That's really all we're doing here. We're just kind of adding a bit of texture here. There we go. I realized I just forgot to do something. So I'm going to do something a little bit unusual here. So I'm going to, again, I'm just going to do just a regular old like highlight on this side. Maybe, yeah, just like a single highlight down the core. Just to show kind of like catching the ambient light. Ooh, and then let's do one of those. Get some of the trimming here. Oh, that looks so good. There we go. I realized I forgot the little... I forgot to hit the... forgot to hit this with some light there. I'm not going to worry about highlighting this one. I'm just going to do just very basic, just hit the light on here. Just like so. Just not going to worry too much about it. It's just to show that, yeah, there is indeed something there to grip onto. Yeah, so that kind of works out. I like that.
Incredibly close. GG. Well played.
There we go. let's head back to the overlay layer. Let's get some more highlights there. There we go. Just like that. With every little detail you know what? Hold on, out of curiosity. Yeah. Just do some quick highlights on that. Oh yeah, that's looking a lot better. Actually, let's just do the outline here.
Sorry, you want to say 4 every time we hit a ball? What are you, a glow stick?
There we go. So I'm doing kind of like a cylinder shading with the leg here. Just gives that nice little bit of shine. Especially when you zoom out. All right. I need to take a little bite of food while it's still warm. Oh, that's good. Okay, so again, we're gonna hit the outside. Then we'll hit the inside, like so. Some of these steps just take a little longer than others, but other steps just happen in a breeze. One of these. There we go. And then what I'm gonna do after this little pass of the highlights, I'm going to quickly go over the little Tesla, or I say the Tesla, the little sparks. And I'm just going to quickly hit some of the raised areas around there with a very soft brush with blue to sort of simulate light. From the sparks reflecting off of the metal. Now let's see. Are we missing any spots? Ooh. Oh. Knuckles. And we are almost done. see. Missed this spot right here. Going to get the tops of the red wires just for the sake of consistency. Going to get this little bit of trimming here. There we go. A little bit of that. You know, one of these days, I wanna like actually sit down and make a game, like an actual game. Like, I have the technical skills and the art skills. I just need the time and the funding, really. I got the time now. I just need the funding. Now that I have like a surplus of time, I could probably start playing some more Mecha games again. The thing I would do... The thing I would do to have an audiobook be narrated by Sunny. You know, funnily enough, I have considered looking into potentially doing stuff like that. I mean, that's the thing. If there are like any independent like mecha stories out there, I could probably read, like, do like little audiobooks of those and put them on my channel. Just like ask permission from the author. I do know I have a, like, I'm very aware I have a very relaxing, smooth baritone. There we go. And finally, we have this one last surface to highlight here. And then I just got to do one final step. There we go. Let's see, am I missing any details currently? Oh, actually, it would be probably a really good idea to hit these with some highlights just to kind of break up these panels just a little bit. Again, hit the edges there, and then I'll do a really big sweeping, just this big sweeping highlight across this panel here. There we go. Just kind of show that these are still like metallic panels over on this side. It's not a super big detail, but it's enough. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I don't think there is. Aside from like maybe that. Yeah. So now we're going to go over with a blue. In fact, it's going to be this blue specifically, and we're going to bring that up. Let's do a little bit of an add, and then let's bring up the soft spray here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it sort of, I'm going to have it be like, yeah, there we go. Cool. And then don't want to like hide a lot of my work here, so we're just gonna mostly just sort of like adding to the glow effect. Oh, whoops. Actually, am I on the wrong layer? I am on the wrong layer. Whoops. So that should actually be right down there. And that should be... Yeah, like that. Okay, and then... Oh, sorry, I'm just like rearranging the layers to get this to work. So then... And actually, if I put this... Oh, wow, that really blows it out. Okay, so let's do... So I'm just going over with the soft brush here. Just sort of add a little bit more of this kind of bloom effect. Just kind of tint a little bit of this. Ever so slightly. Just makes it a little bit more energetic, if that makes sense. Just kind of show that it's like reflecting everything that's happening here. There we go. And I think, oh, actually let's add a little bit of that bloom on this right here. And actually kind of like so. There we go. Let's add some final details. Oh, I say details. Let's add some final little bits of highlights on the little metallic bits here. So not super noticeable in the grand scheme of things, but it's for the sake of consistency. Just gonna quickly just throw them on there, just so the figure doesn't look super flat when you zoom in on her. There we go. And just like that, we are just about done. Just this little bit right here. Then we zoom out. And it's done. Here we go. Let's see, I don't know enough about voice acting, but you have a voice that's easy on the ears. Oh, thank you very much. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Ooh, it's really having a think about that. Yeah, then once this has saved, I will send you the full version of it, Unicorn, through your Discord. And yeah, I just need to do one last thing once this is done saving. Oh, wow. Yeah, I may have made the file a bit too big. Writing the file. It's giving me like a loading screen and everything. There we go. Now, one last thing to do is let's make that just a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be that big. Just a little signature. My way of saying I was here. There we go. All right, so with that, we are done. We are past the 3-hour mark. I knew it was going to be like a nice, quick little stream here. So with that, let's find someone to raid. And just to let you guys know, I'm on VGen now. So if you type commission in chat with a little exclamation point.
Well, that's my crown achievement right there.
There we go. That's the link to my VGen. That's where you can also commission me if you'd like to see some, if you'd like to commission some really cool artwork. I'm doing a big 25% off sale going on for all of my commission work throughout the whole of this month. Just as like a big like launch thing, And it will really help me out because this is going to be my sole form of income for a good while. So yeah, let's see who to raid.
For the lesbians on International Women's Month, thank you.
Let's see who be streaming at the moment. Ah. Let's see. Let's see, who be this? Well, I'm just kind of like going through a few of these streams here. Oh, that is an immediate ad upon entering. Let's try someone else. Ah, this looks like this is going to be a nice, cozy little art stream. So we're going to raid into Fresh TVT.
I heard TV, and I'm not gonna lie, I immediately perked up. I was like, that TV? No way, I don't think she's live.
All right, let's go ahead and type in that little commands there. There we go. So yeah, we're just going to raid in. She's kind of working on some stuff at the moment. Ooh, looks like she's in the middle of an ad roll. But yeah, like always, keep those giant robots stompy, and I'll catch you around. If you'd like to hang out in the community Discord, you can also join that down below. And yeah, I'm always in there. We're always like playing Helldivers or like gushing about Lance or anything like that. So if you want to like join and play, that's the place to do it. So with that, catch you guys around.